Hi, welcome to Awakening Soul Truth. I am Allison Ledbetter, and this is Robbie Short. And we are healers, meditation teachers, Reiki masters. She's a yogi, and I am a medium. And today we are going to discuss an amazing podcast that we watched that really brings up this battle for humanity, the spiritual war that's happening behind the scenes. The interview was done by Know Thyself Podcast. It's an interview with Gregg Braden discussing this spiritual battle for our humanity. And he discusses the impact of AI on our DNA and are we going to become transhuman? All right, so that's our discussion.
Well, I like the way he started talking about how AI can be used for good.
Absolutely.
You know, he was mentioning, for instance, with war victims who have lost limbs, they can have prosthetic arms that can even just, take the hair back of their loved one. Just something simple like that shows and demonstrates love.
Yes.
I mean, that's a beautiful piece of AI. And we know that AI can be used for different types of surgeries and things that will advance the medical system.
Absolutely.
But then you can tell them
But there's a time and a place for it.
Yeah.
And is AI, the reason why we're bringing this up, because AI, if fallen into the wrong hands, can be used in this spiritual battle for our own divinity, for our soul, for our ability to know thyself, literally to know thyself. Can AI be used to substitute what we connect to? So it being put in the top layer of the brain and really enhancing your ability to do visuals. Do we need it to run all of our money and be a broadcasting system? Like, the whole point of our discussion, though, is to really look at, if we allow AI to become part of us, is it replacing our divinity? And the only way to access our divinity is through our body.
Yeah, I really don't want to access information through a chip that's been implanted in me. I would rather go within and plug into the source.
Yeah.
Field.
Yeah.
God spark.
Yeah.
Soul, whatever you want to call it, inside, which I think more is in the heart than, say, the brain.
Absolutely.
But
well, it's that age-old argument. Where is the soul? What is the soul? How do we access the soul? I do believe we access it absolutely through our body, through our heart. And actually, you can access it, I think, through all the chakras at different times. There's different elements of it. But to talk about the definition that he gave, let's give that definition.
He defines divinity as the power within to transcend perceived limitations. And the word transcend, become greater than.
Yes, so to become greater than perceived limitations.
So, from a yogi's perspective, to bring it back to this ancient science, yoga talks about something called pratyahara. And pratyahara is transcending the senses. Because yogis believe the senses actually limit us. Right? We rely on the senses, and the senses are super important. However, it's still limiting because we can only perceive so much with the senses. And so the idea of pratyahara is, some people say withdrawing from the senses. And really, when it means withdrawing from the senses, it's letting go of the distractions of the senses.
Yeah. Because
it's not the full realm of reality. It's only given us a piece of it. So to withdraw from the senses and to lessen to the distractions is to transcend beyond that, which is connecting back to that source energy and the innate knowledge that you have and hold within yourself. So it's the inner technology, if you want to call it that.
I love that definition. And that inner technology, or the soul technology, really manifests in our imagination. It manifests and becomes bigger in terms of our ability to create.
Mm-hmm.
It expands us in every way you could possibly think of. So when you go into this place of inner wisdom and knowing, I mean, what else comes from there? Vision,
A lot.
love, our ability to
Creativity.
love.
Yeah.
Our ability to have intuition. The creative piece just blows my mind.
You know, I just thought about, we were just talking about inner technology. There's a Sadhguru who has the ashram down in McMinnville.
Mm-hmm.
He has a program called Inner Engineering.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Well, it also gets back to tapping into the quantum field, or what I call the divine matrix around you. So once you are in your soul place, you actually access enormous amounts of information.
Yeah.
And I don't think people trust that. I don't think most of the people we work with trust that there is a field of wisdom that surrounds you at all times, that responds to your accessing your own heart, your creativity. So say you have a brilliant idea, the field, the divine matrix around you actually works to make that come true.
Mm-hmm.
It gives it the physical connections and the synchronicities in your life. It can be really magical.
Yeah, totally agree. So haven't I this thought for you, question for you?
Yes.
So I'm all about this and understand it, but we also talk a lot about being in the flow of things.
Yes.
Right? So when I feel like lately my goal has just be in the flow. And when I get an inspired idea, I just run with it or put it into action. Right?
Right.
So I guess my question is, what about the people who are listening and they're wanting to be in the flow of things, and they get the insight, they get the information, but they don't do anything about it? Because I know we all know people who have these moments of epiphanies and they have so much clarity on this, that, and the other, whether it's a relationship or a job or a direction, and then they just don't take the steps because they're like, well, I'm just going to trust that the universe knows what's best, and I'm just going to let it unfold.
No, they don't actually actualize their inner voice. And I would say a couple things. One, it is because our society is so filled with distractions. And so listening to yourself doesn't necessarily give you the needs of survival. So so many of us don't listen because of the need to make money and to survive, and not taking that leap,
the need to survive.
Or they have
or dependencies.
They have this limited view that what our culture has created, and it puts us in a place of fear. And when we're really in a place of fear, we don't believe that we'll be supported by the divine because we can't necessarily see it. So to really fold into, I'm trusting the divine to unfold the steps necessary. And we love to, as humans, we love to have the steps all mapped out. We want, here's point A and here's point B, and I'm going to drive on this road to get there. That's not the way the divine
still the field
works.
Of the unknown, right?
Right. But that's not how the divine works. The divine works in terms of you take one step, a new door opens. You take another step, a new door opens. And it keeps unfolding. If you've ever noticed and worked with your intuition, that's the way intuition works. Like if you don't say what you're feeling the intuition is, it just stays stuck. So, one, we totally get that it's hard to take the leap, but now's the time. I mean, this is the time in human expansion and awakening to take the leap, to trust that these old systems aren't getting you happiness. Is it? It's not.
No.
It's not getting you happiness or joy.
But I heard something earlier this morning, and they were talking about this exact subject, and it was the idea that we keep wanting the systems to change, and we know that the systems are going to break down and something's going to be recreated. But their point was, how can it be recreated if we're still trusting and working with the old system?
Right. So the best bet is to trust the system of the divine, because it holds the bigger picture. Like, I love the divine. I'll give you my example. I have been unraveling these deep healings and solving kind of a mystery in my work. And each person that's come in has been a key to unlock a door, to heal a different layer of humanity or mass consciousness, to give me access to something like a dark field that created stuck energy. All of these people were keys. I trusted. It's been hard. I don't think it's been easy, but when you trust and you make that leap, it takes you to the most incredible places. And you don't know where you're going. But what you do know is experiencing love in the now moment. So the more you stay connected to the now moment, stay in your heart, not in the distractions, not in that place of, well, this is more important. Making money is more important. Going on the ideal vacation is more important. No, sitting with yourself, breathing, connecting, maybe doing yoga, maybe cooking, connecting to nature. Wherever it is you find your silence and peace, that's where inspiration comes from. That's where motivation comes from. And that's what we don't want AI to replace.
Yeah. Okay. Gregg Braden made a great point that you were kind of alluding to. And he had a discussion with a lot of the artists who had come to the Grammys.
Yeah.
And he was talking to these different artists and musicians on the side and saying, hey, like what brought up this inspiration within you? And he said, every single person said something similar. It came through them, but it wasn't from them.
Yeah.
It came through them. And I find it fascinating because I have a partner who is a musician. And when I know you have asked him, and when I've asked him, when we ask him that question, he says the same thing. And he doesn't call it, he doesn't call it spirit, but he just says, I don't know. It just comes through me.
Yeah.
And even yoga teachers will sometimes say, like they'll have a really great class sometimes, and they're like, I don't know where it came from unless spirit just came through me in that moment. And you don't have to be a yoga teacher or a poet or a musician to have these moments. Our point is to be human and to be present, is to experience these moments. And that's what we're trying to ask you to plug into.
Yeah. It's just to trust the ease of the now moment. It's just paying attention.
Yeah.
It really is. And I would go as far as to say that it's not spirit as much as it is your oversoul. Like, I mean, to me, I see it as that energy body that's really pure, that is your soul, that has love as its foundation, that is kind of guiding and seeing this, because our soul is a totality of so many lifetimes of wisdoms. And I mean, wow, if we really tapped into that, wow. And they say also that, like, when you are inspired, right? Like, if I inspire you, or if I remember, it actually causes me to remember too. Right? So when they write a song, or it's this whole supportive community of, we're waking each other up.
Yeah.
We're building a community of soul consciousness, which I think enhances the divine matrix. It's very exciting.
It is exciting.
It really is.
It's something we really haven't experienced in lifetimes.
Right. I mean, we get
pieces
glimpses of it.
Yeah.
I think, and to say this even further, because we want to really get this message out that to experience your divinity and your wisdom, you have to have a body. And it comes through your body. And if we replace that wisdom, that interconnection, and we interfere with AI, we've really kind of given us a great disadvantage. Will it come back? I think the soul always comes back and rises. And I think we just need to be really clear and conscious that AI can help us, but it can't take us over.
Yeah.
And I think another thing is that can motivate us to help us that AI is actually built off of our potential. It's only mimicking.
Well, humans designed it.
Right. And they only know their potential. And you know what I'm saying? So if we are the prototypes for it, I don't even think you know the power you have. I don't think we've seen it. I think, and this is that battle part, that war part that's happening, the spiritual battle, that we have already so separated from ourselves. We already have so many distractions, right? That we don't get that we're the powerhouse. That when our cells are united and collected, we're a battery. We're so impressive. I mean, I really know this from looking at clearing dark energy, because I'll see the dark being create a war to actually collect souls and use them as energy.
Oh.
Right?
Yeah.
Let's not have this play out.
Well, and I loved what Gregg Braden was saying on this episode regarding, this dark power that's been in control has created things like war and things to separate us and bring us into a place of fear and distrust.
Yeah.
So that we're disempowered. And you can see that happening now. It's like the more that gets cleared and the more light that comes in, the more they're fighting to hang on with all that they have.
Yeah. I mean, I think we're all becoming really aware of some insidious public policies put in place that have brought harm and separation. So the key is to build your own community. And again, you can reach inside and find that space. And when you step into the now moment and you connect to inner love, it's like being high. You love everybody. At least that's what happens for me. I get so giddy.
Yeah. There's a lot of joy in it.
There's so much joy in it. Find it. Okay. So that's our big talk today. We have a beautiful affirmation that comes from a woman named Pamela. What's her name?
I think it's Erilyn.
Erilyn. You want to say it?
Yes. I invoke the divine revelation of clarity. I utilize the grace of discernment to trust my soul's capacity to care for me and to support me. I'm going to say it 2 more times.
Ah, so beautiful.
I invoke a divine revelation of clarity, and I utilize the grace of discernment to trust my soul's capacity to care for me and to support me. I invoke a divine revelation of clarity. I utilize the grace of discernment to trust my soul's capacity to care for me and to support me. Imagine if we woke up in the morning and said that every day.
Yeah. Well, make it your goal to tap into your soul. You have immediate access to the divine matrix, and it's the easiest place to create from. I mean, let's stop creating for the bigger companies that are just hacking our world up. Sad. Let's really tap into this ease. And I used to tell people, I forgot this, the mail system. Like when I say to people, you're not responsible for other people, but you can pray or you can connect to them through your heart. And I tell them that because the heart connects all of us instantly.
Yeah, I heard this saying, and you'll appreciate it. It said, you know why loved ones yell at each other when they are fighting? It's because they've lost their connection. And they're yelling because they feel like that person is so far away.
Oh, even if they're standing right there.
Even if they're standing right there in front of you.
I love that.
Yeah.
So go inward.
Go back to the heart.
And then
back
you
to
can
the heart.
See, it even helps our day-to-day behavior. Done.
Yeah.
All right. Enjoy your week.
Namaste.
Namaste.